some bunnies with a Badooka dunk.
Way downtown. Bang! Bang!
Mama, there goes that man.
Yo, welcome to A Tribe Called Swish. As always, we run into the three-man weave. We got Kev from Ohio. We got Jay Money. And as always, also, we're brought to you by Southern Edge Beverage Company. Like, subscribe. Don't be a hater your whole life. Also, look for the discount code in the description. So, fellas, how we doing today?
Jay Money, you go first.
Hey, man. My day could be better. Should have called sick today. That's all I need to say.
I'm good, my brother. I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm ready.
All right, no doubt. Same. So look, man, before we even get into that, we gotta talk about how we lied to the people. So we were supposed to record Wednesday night. It's Saturday. We're recording right now, Wednesday night, and post it Thursday. Mm-hmm. There's somebody on this pod who will remain nameless. who thought that we were going to record and post on Thursday. And I said, sir, that's not possible.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we had somebody else who had such a busy lifestyle. We had to kind of, he was like, yeah, man, we can record this day, but hold on, I got some appointments. I got an appointment. And I'm like, all right, are we going? He's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't want to cancel the appointment. I'm like, and I told him because I'm a good host, I'm a good person. Mm-hmm. I said, man, keep your appointment. I get it, man. Things are important, So we lied to the people, but it's not my fault. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, man, I gotta fire the person who was part of my appointment. They said I was part of the problem, and I said absolutely not.
All right, so look, man, a few things have happened, stuff that we normally talk about, but still, since we last spoken, John Cena has retired, which was a big deal. That was a big thing. Hot 97 fired their whole morning show. Like that was crazy. Wow. Ebro in the morning has been there for 20 some years. Yeah. Staple of Hot 97, staple of New York radio, and all gone. And lastly, because of the Eagles' win tonight, the Dallas Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs. Yes. So, a lot going on. In the world.
Wow. Ooh. That's tough, man.
It's tough world we out of. But before we get into the basketball stuff, we have a big fantasy football matchup this week. Me against Kev. So we in the playoffs. And Kev has the unluckiness of going against my team. And hey, Kev, who's my number one receiver?
Puka Nacua right now. Puka. It's tough, man. It is tough. As a fantasy owner, your goal is to put the best team out there possible, right? The rest, it just got to play out from there. But it's just, he put a lot of pressure on me, man. I understand. I need points. Jay Money is tough, man.
I would have quit, man. I would have just.
So look, there's a lot of football left. Mm-hmm. I can eat. So look, listen. There's a lot of football left. I'm not gloating yet. It's just funny that when I looked at that number, 65 points, that's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Wow. But there's a lot of football left. Yeah. But yeah, luckily Jalen Hurts me 25 points tonight also, so that's helpful. But yeah,
hey, I'm battling for first place right now. I'm in the championship matchup right now.
All right, there you go. Look at you.
Love Jay Money. Get it, Jay Money.
Right, yeah. All right, so let's get to some basketball. NBA Cup finals happened this week. Knicks winning the NBA Cup. It was a great game until like the last probably minute and a half, really, when it was kind of got away a little bit. But it was a really impressive game. I think the Spurs played well. I thought we saw a lot of good things from both teams. Mm-hmm. I wonder about how this is going to translate down the road. But I think the NBA Cup overall was a success. The Final Four had decent matchups. What do you guys think about the NBA Cup and this last matchup?
Jay Money. Let me start off and talk about your guy Mike Brown.
All right, go ahead.
Mike Brown, I was thoroughly impressed, man, with his coaching down the stretch. I think him recognizing that Jalen Brunson was getting so much on ball pressure from Castle, and he needed to kind of free him up, so he put in another point guard, man, and that's coaching. You got to be able to make some decisions in real time, and I thought he did an excellent job coaching them up. Those guys was motivated. I even liked his championship speech afterwards. You know what I mean? So. I got to lead with that, man. I was thoroughly impressed. I think the Spurs, they're going to really benefit from that type playoff type atmosphere. I was watching Paul Pierce and KG talk about it, and it was like, where can you get that type of, experience during a year? You don't, until the moment. So I was thoroughly impressed. And then also, be more, we were texting, and you highlighted how Prime Video's presentation was just so good, and you were right about that too. It was such a good watch, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I liked what I saw from both teams. It shows that also the Spurs is also a very high contending team too.
Yeah.
And I know that they had Wemby on like minute restriction of like coming back in rotation, when he was healthy and stuff like that. But I still think they played very well, and it was good to see, sparks of flashes of Dylan Harper's performance as a rookie. He plays like a veteran, and it's incredible to see, and I love that for him. The Knicks, I'm super happy and I'm super glad that Mike Brown got him another trophy. Shout out to my man Mike Brown. I've been down with him since day one. They counted him out, and he came back with a Cup Finals win. So shout out to all the haters on that one too. But I'm not sold on the Knicks being contenders, because we've seen it happen before, but especially with the Bucks, who have always been a contending team, to where they won the Cup Finals and then they kind of plummet right after that too. So I want to see what the second half of the season looks like for the Knicks, but I am super glad that they won this particular cup, this matchup for the tournament.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for this NBA Cup is that there was just effort. We never see effort this time of the year before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So that's just how, and I get why NBA players do it, because they know it's football season. Not a lot of people are watching, so they kind of take it easy. And then normally after Christmas, it's, there's effort more, right?
Yeah.
But the Final Four matchups, I mean, even the Knicks Magic was decent. Was a decent game. But Thunder and Spurs, it's obvious Chet and Wemby do not like each other, and I love that. I want more of that. Like when Wemby yelled of excitement because Chet missed that free throw, I'm like, yes, give us more of this. Give us more of this. Like I want the pettiness. I love the character, the personality that Wemby is showing. Wemby does not.
Yeah.
Wemby wants smoke with everybody. He's not running from nothing, and he's still a kid. He's not even his. We haven't even seen peak Wemby yet, and that's scary. And so he's this aggressive. And he just wants the ball. He wants to win. He's not this guy is going to be like, you know what, I want to wait till my fifth. No, he wants to win now. And when you look at the standings, I mean, with OKC, they lost last night, and we'll get in that more, but they're not that far out of it. They're only like 5 games out of first place, But the Knicks play ball. Jalen Brunson was a killer. I mean, he was a killer.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson. It's good seeing him on that roster. Because they got a lot of pieces, man. I think Big Cat showed fight. I think he had tweaked his ankle, came back in late. But they showed a lot of resiliency. And to your point, I don't know if they're championship caliber, but there'll be something coming out of East. I think they're very formidable for anybody in the East, and I'm excited. And to your point, it's all about matchups. I would love for the Thunder to match up with the Spurs, because as favored as the Thunder should be, going in a 7-game series with them is something. Wemby can change a lot, and I love that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, don't sleep on Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson gave them great minutes.
Yeah, good point.
Like he's one of those players. He gave them, like, I know Cole got a lot of the pub, but Mitchell Robinson gave them great minutes. And like you said, Jordan Clarkson was a bucket in the second half. Just a walking bucket.
That's why they signed him.
Exactly. That's they knew. That's what they knew. Like with the Knicks, I still have concerns about, can this travel? Like, can you count on Clarkson to do that, in a 7-game season? Because Josh Hart seemed to have lost his ability to shoot. Mikal Bridges is streaky. So you got the odds and ends, they're kind of up and down. So how is that going to look in a 7-game series?
Yeah.
But when they are on and when they are clicking, they are a tough team to beat. They're just a tough team because if it's close, you know where the ball is going, but you can't stop it. How you game plan against that?
Right.
All right, so we're gonna jump to the fan letter to Golden State's owner, right? This is just crazy because normally I think this is just kind of the new world we live in where fans have access to people who we would have never had access to via email, via social media, whatever. So he goes on to tell Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, how he's frustrated. He said he does not like the style of play. He's concerned about the coaching. He thinks their roster, that they're not making the right moves. And Joe Lacob, and the kind of response was, "You can't be as frustrated as me," and they're working on it. And I mean, what can you really say? Because you can't. He's the owner. You can't really throw your players under the bus. But yeah, the fact that he's not saying that, hey, I know we have a strong team, and I know that this is championship caliber, says a lot because that team is not a championship team, and they are going to waste this second half of Steph's career.
It's funny if you go back to it, LeBron plug. You go back to back with him kind of creating player empowerment, doing that 1 year player option. What does that do? It keeps the pressure on management. You want me around, but yet I don't want to give you to get so comfortable that I may not leave. And as a result, the team is forced to keep a competitive roster. So to that fan's point, I get under saying, hey, I'm frustrated. What are you doing? I get that frustration. I really appreciate the passion because not every fan's gonna kind of go that far, but I understand the owner's response to an extent, but I think overall, I think for a fan to be that passionate, I respect it. Do something about it. I'm with him on that.
Yeah, I agree with it too. I kind of feel like Joe, like he's like, I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too, and I think I feel like that was a genuine response. Like I feel like the owner is genuinely frustrated with this because he's like, we have a once in a generational talent that's on the tail end of his career. Like we've been saying this for weeks. Like Steph Curry is incredible. He's a phenomenal player, definitely a Hall of Famer. But like we're the Warriors are the new retirement home. Like we got Al Horford. Like dude's 50 with 75-year-old legs still running up and down the court. And then, the common thing of our issue is like we haven't won a championship without a big. Like the last time we had a big was Kevon Looney, who we won a championship with a few years ago. Before Kevon Looney, it was Andrew Bogut. And so like they had a big man.
Y'all got JaVale McGee even to give y'all good minutes in one.
Exactly. And DeMarcus Cousins. And so like I don't know what Steve Kerr is doing, or I don't know if management is not putting enough pressure on him to be like, yo, we are signing a big man. Make it work. And he's got too many rotations that it's hard to build chemistry with a team that is going through rotations every other game without a solid foundation yet. So like, I get it. I'm frustrated too, because I'm like, this is a great guy who's got a great career and we're just wasting it now. Like, what are we even doing?
Yeah, and this Jonathan Kuminga thing where he's getting coach DNPs, it's like the Warriors seem like they're just flailing right now. And Steph is having a really good season. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Yeah. Like honestly, this season should be, if they had played this right, if they would have put a competitive team around Steph, with Steph's sneaker free agency, because all eyes are on Steph because of that, Steph, people knowing that that he's kind of in the last part of his prime, this could have been a big season for the Golden State to be like everywhere. They would have been a popular team to watch, a popular pick, because all eyes were going to be on them because they want to see what this team is going to do. But when you watch them play, they look old, they look slow, they look, this team is like, we've seen them, they're predicated on ball movement and shooting, but they only have one real shooter now that you can count on, that's Steph. Moses Moody, Kuminga, who else?
I wouldn't even throw in Kuminga, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like they don't. they don't have shooters. They don't have scorers. Like there's nobody who they can count on besides Steph.
But I bet
And
they don't want Clay back.
no, listen, even
Nah,
though
hey, listen. Clay has been dropping over 20 lately.
yes,
Yes,
Stop
yeah.
playing. I told y'all, stop playing with my boy.
Clay is playing better, but we know that he's going to fall off again, and he'll come back. That's because he's old. That's what's going to happen.
You sound
But
like a
this
hater.
this team needs help. Like
Yeah.
I still question the move to bring Jimmy Butler over. Like I know Draymond went on this publicity run of like Jimmy's the piece that we were missing. Jimmy's the piece we were missing.
Mhm.
No, man, Jimmy is old.
Yeah, I get you. To your point that you bring in Jimmy Butler, I felt like I would have shipped Kaminga out. Not that Kaminga's not a good player, but they kind of do a lot of the same things. I know
Yeah.
Jimmy's probably better because he's more experienced, but I think Kaminga is a rhythm guy. He needs the ball in his hand to make plays, but yet you're surrounded by Steph Curry. Draymond's a great passer, so I just think you need to just kind of tweak the system a little bit, and just tweak the personnel. But I think Kaminga is probably the biggest trade piece that they have. If you could ship a Draymond at this point in his career, go ahead and ship him. But I think you alluded to his contract does make it difficult. But you just have to ask yourself, what do you want to do? Are we trying to be competitive now, or am I just gonna start to really look at the future? And I think they got some decisions to make, but start by moving Kaminga.
And I think part of the reason why we look at them crazy is because they had this big plan. We're
Yeah,
going to build for the future and compete at the same time. And
yeah,
they missed on those draft picks. They missed on Wiseman, and that set them back. And they
yeah,
got luck. There was perfect timing with that last championship run. It was just perfect timing for them. And they were able to get that one ring, but they never really built for the future. And
right,
so
right.
it's just looking nasty in Golden State right now.
Good point.
Yeah. So the Thunder are on a surprising 2-game losing streak. Granted, they've only lost 3 games this season, but I don't know if you guys saw the highlights or watched any part of that
I
game,
did. I saw it.
but the last 2 to 3 minutes of that game was cinema.
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards balled out, and he had the game sealing steal on Shea. So
and,
I
and
mean,
to
I'm
your.
not gonna say that the Timberwolves are contenders,
Mhm.
but hey, I mean, my eyes are kind of open on this team right now.
It's worth looking at. I think the key to slowing down the Thunder is slowing down Shea at the point with just one defender. If you got to double him and do all of that, it's gonna throw it off. And I think Ant-Man can legitimately defend Shea on ball. Like to your point, that steal was a on ball steal. It wasn't a rub screen. He got his hand through. No, he sized him up, poked it through, and I love that matchup. I think it also shows you that Minnesota is maybe 1 or 2 pieces away. I think they need to push hard for whether it be LaMelo, whether it be for Ja, but you need another scoring option. If you have to respect something else in that offense outside of Ant-Man, I think that makes the Timberwolves formidable. So they really need to make a move because Minnesota can be a thorn to the Thunder just based upon their personnel.
Yeah, I like the Wolves. They're very. I don't know what it was. Maybe they just need to figure something out. Early in the season to where they, because I know they were struggling with like who was going to be number one. Like Ant was consistent, and then he wasn't, balling out like he used to. But I agree with Kev. He's got to make the Wolves need to make another trade for another scoring option. Julius Randle is definitely not it right now. He's way too inconsistent. Like he's supposed to be their number 2 guy, but now he looks like he's barely there. So somebody needs to help Ant out and Rudy Gobert. Get another big that can be versatile, like outside of Rudy Gobert or something. But that team, the Wolves, are a team that can be contenders for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, man. They're fun to watch when they're playing well. Like when Ant is on, they are a fun watch. That's the type of basketball you really want to watch. You don't want to participate in and just kind of mean them. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, but the West is so tight because when they're looking up at the Spurs, the Rockets, and Nuggets, even though the Nuggets lost tonight to the Rockets, but they've got. I mean, they've got work to do. They've got work to do. So, all right. Last basketball topic. Missoula ball stinks.
Such a
Sorry.
hater.
This
You ain't sorry. Don't lie to me. You ain't sorry.
This will be the last time I'll talk about this in 2025. But Missoula ball stinks. I again, as I'll state again, I am a Celtics fan. Been a Celtics fan since I was a kid, and I watched them play against Detroit this week, and the amount of threes they took for no damn reason. They weren't falling. Detroit is the best team in the East, and you're just gonna chuck. And look, Jaylen Brown balled out. Jaylen Brown. They only had 2 players in double figures. Two players in double figures. So yeah, man, it's Missoula ball stinks, man. I know that's your boy, but he absolutely stinks.
We just lost Kev.
It's all right. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving. We good.
Okay. This is how I feel about everything, okay? Joe Mazzulla is not the problem. It's Jaylen Brown. We putting faith in the wrong man. Like he's not. I feel like this kind of like exposes everything about the Celtics, though, right? Like Joe Mazzulla, I believe that this is his 3rd year with the team, right?
Yes.
4th, 3rd year.
3rd year.
I think because Jason Tatum like covered the flaws of the Boston Celtics because they were winning every year. They made the playoffs. They won a ring. Like they were consistent. They're easy, like 60+ win team, 60+ win team every single year since Brad Stevens, I think. But with Jason Tatum out, it exposed the Celtics to be like Jaylen Brown. I feel like has been wanting a chance to be like, I'm the number one guy. And more, you and I have debated about this for weeks, months. And now that opportunity has come for Jaylen Brown, and he is not it. Like, it's great that he's scoring more points, but how is he helping his team win? We can say coaching adjustments as much as we want, but if you're a guy right now, if you're an all-star like Jaylen Brown, a championship caliber player now, we are going to have to hold him to the same standards of like, yo, you're number 2, now you're number 1. How are you helping everyone be better? Because we would say the same thing about Jalen Brunson. We would say the same thing about Stephen Curry. We would say the same thing about KD and Bron. We have to have that same expectation for Jaylen Brown, and he's not stepping up to the plate.
I think that's a good point, Jay Money. I think just look at it. Rather, sometimes it's not even based upon the sport. You got what happened when Antonio Brown left the Steelers, and it was just Juju Schuster by himself.
Yep.
Didn't wake up. What happened when who left the Cowboys and just left CeeDee Lamb by himself? Who was the receiver that left? I can't think of his name.
I forgot. Yeah, that's the point.
Right. Yeah. But you saw CD's production dip, so then they had to go bring in Pickens and others, along the way to kind of get that back. So when you take on being the guy, you take on those, those issues as well. And I don't think Jaylen Brown is just playing terrible, but he's not that dynamic of a scorer, and he needs some other moving parts around him to kind of help him get off. Go back to even further back when James Harden finally got his chance to be the guy in Houston. He took off. You know what I mean? But yet, when it was in the weighing moments in the playoff, he wore down because he didn't have that Robin. So I think he deserves to be critiqued. But I think even these best teams have a Batman and a Robin. But I don't think he necessarily has that with Jason Tatum being gone.
And that's fair. And look, no one expected the Celtics to be real contenders. They're over 500. They are overall playing good ball. But when I see the fact that this team could probably squeeze more wins out if they would actually just make some adjustments, that's the annoying thing about this team. Yeah. If you're in the game against Detroit, if you maybe just take 5 less 3-pointers, get a better shot, drive to the hole, maybe go to the free throw line, maybe you could have beaten the best team in the East. Because this is why I'm annoyed by Mazzulla, is because he's overall, when you look at it, sure, he is coaching well. This team should not be as good as they are, right? I'm going to be fair about that. But on the edges, that's where you become real winners. That's because that little 3% change, that's what separates, 40, 50 win team, probably from a 30 win team, from a 500 team, from a 40, so that is why it just annoys me. It's just like, if you see something that's not working, Just stop it, man.
Mhm.
Just stop it.
Yeah.
Just-
Maybe you shouldn't have let Drew Holiday go. It's a bunch of maybes, but there's no way you split up Drew Holiday and Derek White. That just worked. Those type of guys
Right.
are such complimentary players that every team wants they covet. So to break that up, you're really seeing the effect. So,
But that's a bigger point of, look, they got new ownership. The ownership is like, look, yo, we have 2 max players. We can't do that. Okay. All right, guys. We have 2 max players. All right. We have almost $1 billion invested into 2 players.
2 players.
So somebody's got to go.
Yeah.
They're probably like, look, can we play 5-on-2 basketball? Because that's what I would like to do. But due to NBA rules, they can't do that.
Right.
So they're like, okay, hey man, KP, peace. Drew, peace. So yeah.
Be more hearing you say that had me thinking about that scene in Friday when he was like, "I need some cereal. Ain't no milk. Better put some water in that." So to your point, the owner like, man, make it work. Like I ain't my money.
Yeah.
Come on now, make it work. I feel you, right? I feel you.
Or it's like, I just paid all these billions of dollars to buy this team. I didn't say I wanted this. That I don't want to pay.
Come on now, come on. Somebody better tell me something.
Be like, that was y'all fault. That wasn't my fault. That was y'all.
So I have a question then. I don't know if it's a question, but more so of an extra thought.
Mm-hmm.
With these teams that are struggling without their true star players, right? We got the Warriors, now we got the Celtics. I think the Hawks are doing good, but like there's another team the Pacers. They're also struggling without
Mavericks
Tyrese
without
Halliburton.
Kyrie.
Yeah, Mavericks without Kyrie. I feel like these teams need to take a book out of the Thunder's, take a page out of the Thunder's playbook and rebuild and trade for some picks because they got picked. The Thunder has picks for years.
Picks, yeah.
And then they built a roster that is a championship caliber team now. So I think that like these teams need to start looking at OKC and be like,
that's the motto. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we might have to start doing stuff.
So I want to say this. Yes, what you're saying makes sense. The problem is Sam Presti is unique and Sam Presti is patient. He had a fan base that's also patient. They weren't like rushing him. Like they weren't saying we need a winner right now. They were patient. They understood basketball. And also Presti walked into some great deals of people who were doing dumb stuff with picks. Like what the Clippers were doing with their picks was just like, I mean, that was, so I think what happens is that a lot of fans don't want to pay good money for season tickets and not field a competitive team. Presti got lucky because this team went from the Russ PG team, then Chris Paul came, and then they had some down years, but they weren't terrible. But because of the trades they made, they were always somehow in the lottery. So they're always able to get these young players at these high picks. And so I don't know if that can be duplicated, but I do agree that these teams have to understand that we can't. The Miami Heat is a very unique thing that happened. Miami and Boston Celtics with the KG Ray Allen thing. Those are 2 unique points of time that'll probably never happen again. You need to build through youth, through the draft, because just putting together a team, it hasn't worked. It has not worked except the Heat and Celtics. The only time it's worked.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I get you on that.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about something that's up Kev's wheelhouse. So last night was the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight. They sold out the arena. Netflix, I don't think they've released the numbers yet, but I'm pretty sure it did big numbers. It was a huge payday. Yep. It was a terrible fight. Yes. Jake Paul was grabbing his knees like 25% of the fight.
Yep.
Anthony Joshua was rocking him in the face, where I was like, I felt like the dude in Rocky, throw in the towel. Like it looked bad. Like it wasn't a good boxing fight. We saw the same thing with him and Tyson over the summer.
Yeah. What was that even? Like whatever. Don't get me started.
Yeah. Sorry. So and also Bud Crawford just retired. So look, man, is boxing dead? Like is this dead?
Gotcha. You know what? I actually disagree. It's not dead. I think, you look at some recent matchups, whether it be Canelo and Terrence Crawford, upcoming in January, you got Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. You got a lot of big things going on, but I think this Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua is just that as entertainment. It's on Netflix. And to your point, we know there it's a sense of being WWE. It's almost staged. You go back and look at the fight, and Anthony Joshua didn't even throw headshots until like after the fourth, fifth round. And contractually, it says that that's kind of what it was. He wasn't going to do anything until the later rounds. But you tell me, B more, for it to gross 184 million and for it to be a 97 million split amongst fighters is sensational. I feel bad for Javante Davis because this really was a lottery ticket. If he was on his way out of boxing and you missed out on this opportunity to kind of bring such a monumental bag home, that's tough. That's tough. He's a millionaire. I'm not trying to count his pockets, but I think anybody can use an extra 97. You know what I mean? So I think that is something. But boxing going into next year, I think there's a lot of key matchups. I think be more what we get is that other sports like MMA, they get to it. The matchups you want to see, they're gonna make them happen. Boxing is just so much posturing and semantics. It doesn't happen. So hopefully 2026 brings a new, and then you have the guy. With His Excellency, who's kind of doing all of the big matchups, partnering with his own. So boxing is still in a good spot. And that fight, to your point, it was scripted, looked bad. Jake got what was coming to him, but Jake is a shrewd businessman as well. Absolutely from Ohio, so I got to plug him. I got to rock with him, be more. You know what I mean? But I think all in all, it was what it was, and it's scripted entertainment. But at least Anthony Joshua didn't get knocked out. Now, if he had
Yeah.
got knocked out, imagine the backlash we had seen. So, but it was something to watch. Something to watch.
I'm just happy that Jake Paul got knocked out. I hate him so much. I can't stand him. Him and his brother play too much. I can't stand it. Oh my god. Yeah. I think that fight last night was a waste of my good 25 minutes of Netflix time. I want a refund of my time and money. And I'm just glad the Netflix service didn't crash too. So that was a huge plus.
Right. And it was a Friday night.
Right.
And it was yeah, so it was perfect. Yeah.
But I guess when I look at it's just like, okay, we got this year also was Crawford Spence was this year too, right? At the beginning of the year?
Beginning
Was
of
that
the year,
last
yes,
year?
sir.
Beginning of the year. Okay. So we got that. And look, I am a casual boxing fan. That's why I yield any type of expertise about boxing to you. Super casual, right? But I knew that was something that I should tune into. There is not, from what I mean, you talk about the fight in January, but there is not. I feel like there is not a hype that we saw with Spence Crawford, with Spence Canelo. I mean, not Spence with Crawford Canelo, leading up to that I've heard of. And again,
Yeah.
if I'm a casual, that means that it's got to be making some noise. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
And there's nothing I've seen or heard that gets me excited for anything, in the next year. And that's why I asked, like, if it's dead, because they were able to get all these people to tune in. Look, all three of us, we're fools. We knew what it was, but we were like, okay, this is a clown show.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it,
Yeah.
and they got us
And-
all to tune into it. And because that we did that, does this just mean that we're gonna get more of these clown shows instead of actual boxing? Like, we're all of age where we remember when boxers had personalities and
Mhm.
boxers were able to sell fights. And
Mhm.
even if you were casual, you might have known who Lennox Lewis was because
Mhm.
he was a big guy, Brit. You know who he was. You knew who
Mhm.
Holyfield was. You
Mhm.
you knew who all these people were.
Mhm.
But outside of Bud last year,
Mhm.
see, we know who Shakur Stevenson is because of the Olympics, but he's not an exciting fighter to watch.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Mhm.
what do we do for casuals? Like, you're going to tune in regardless.
Right.
But for me and Jay Money, how do you get us to tune in?
Mm-hmm. And then, but yeah, I think for everything you spoke about are all valid points, but yet the flip side of it, you had uh Tyrone Woodley and Anderson Silva fight. Silva's 50 years old. Like, no one's looking to come see him fight.
Right.
However, you put him on this card, he's getting a nice bag. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
think Jake Paul, for what it is, he gets fighters paid. Like
Yes.
Anthony Joshua's never made amount of money like that. Never. You know what I mean? And he's been undisputed, all these great things. So at least Jake is putting money in pockets, and he really promotes women professional boxing.
Yeah. Yes.
Bumgarner, another Ohioan, she did her thing. You know what I mean? And she got a big payday. So I see both sides of it, but I think the matchups is just are really important. You got to plug the people's interests. Shakur Stevenson, for me, I love his style, but he's not Tank Davis. Tank Davis is gonna give you this knockout. He's gonna give you all of this edginess, and that's what the casual fan wants. But the fans like myself, that's a savant. I can appreciate him being tactical and moving. I can appreciate it, but I understand I have to appeal to everyone. So,
Right.
but yeah, 2026. Just be patient, be more. It's coming.
Okay.
Be patient.
All right. All right. So we're gonna move to our last topic, Diddy. So
Diddy,
man.
Diddy, the
So
diddler.
look.
The
So
dude.
So look, I think we all knew going into this that Diddy was not a saint, right? We all knew that we've heard the stories about how he did his contracts, with the locks, the my famous thing of Styles P going on Hot 97 threatening to throw a refrigerator off a building
Right.
to hit Diddy, So we've known how Diddy moves, right?
Mhm.
Right.
We didn't know this. like, like this, like this, the fact that we were like, Sugar's the one,
Right.
we talk about Jay Prince in Houston. They're the ones, And meanwhile, Diddy's sitting back dancing in the videos,
Take that. Take that.
doing all this wild stuff, man. So like, what were y'all thoughts? Let's start there. Like, what were y'all thoughts as y'all were just watching this? As y'all watching this stuff?
You started J Money.
He need to be put under the jail.
Oh man.
That that nigga need to be under the jail. Like, I look at it like this too, right? I was born in '95. And so I kind of came in like I was born like in the middle of this, but I was educated by Uncle Third, my dad, a god brother, and so like they all informed me of like the history of the beef and everything like that, right?
Mhm.
So if I was someone that kind of like that really didn't involve himself in the music like I do now, I would have been convinced that Diddy set up every single murder between like Biggie and Pac. Like, and then the fact of like how he treated his people and like the manipulation, the mind games, like his charming personality got people hooked, and like how he was just I didn't know how abusive this guy was. And then the crazy thing is this man brought a different meaning to dancing on your grave. He killed Biggie and danced at his funeral, bro. Like, how do you
He said killed him.
like
Oh.
how do you do that? But yeah, Diddy needs to be under the jail. But like that, this is crazy. This was a lot of eye-opening stuff.
Yeah, man. I think following it, it's not like I learned a lot of new things. The things that stood out for me, to your point, is that they said that Diddy wanted to make sure that Biggie had the biggest, most elaborate funeral in New York City, and I respect it, right? But then to say his family has to pay for it, it's like, what is that? And I think this documentary just shows a lot about his character, but we're gonna go back to like the depth of it, right? If
Mhm.
if 50 Cent executive produced it, and the Diddy's trial highlighted that 50 Cent, one of his children's mother, was connected to Diddy. Diddy essentially kind of like made her call girl and do all these things. She's an adult, and then at 50, as a result, does he carry some resentment to that? And does he is he as a but also he's a shrewd businessman.
Mhm.
What I'll never understand is that Diddy wanted to monetize his story, and I get it. That's creative. However, for you not to make sure that the all of the footage you own and seal, and then at the worst case scenario, 50 Cent pays for all of this, and then he monetizes it and makes a documentary that's going to be forever in infamy. It's like it's tough.
Mhm.
But yet. I see other people's feedback like, hey, why should one black man tear down another black man? Why should, let the universe get Diddy back? It's just so many ways to kind of look at it. And to your point, Jay Money, he did a lot of heinous things. I think, and maybe he's getting back what he deserves, but it's just interesting to look at this because the documentary, some of it is propaganda. I like most recently, Jadakiss and his podcast with Fat Joe said, hey, Biggie was excited to be there. He wanted to be there, but yet the documentary alludes to like he was just nervous and scared. And they kind of conveniently put a clip in there about him being scared, but it wasn't a California trip. Another reporter came out and
Right.
said that, hey,
Victoria. Yep.
so it's like it can be misleading. And then you look at Marlon Wayans, his point about it, just the narratives, and then what happened? 50 Cent, 50 being 50. He's the wrong guy to make an enemy if you don't have the backing or the resources he has, because he's gonna uncover something you want to keep in a closet, and it's gonna be bad. So it's an interesting documentary, but I don't think Diddy can recover from this, and I think that's what 50 Cent wanted.
Yeah.
So I think so. A few things of what you said, like Diddy not paying the camera person is typical Puff. Puff doesn't like to pay people. There was the producer who was like, "Yo, can you when you go pay me?" That's been Puff's thing. So his whole how he ran his business came back to bite him. And you're right. There's a lot of hubris of him. Like, I'm going to videotape. This is going to be the greatest comeback story ever. Because he thought, because look, why wouldn't you think you're going to get away with it?
Right.
Like, think about everything from the Howard party to Big to Pac, the Quad City shooting to Pac dying. All these things and all these things that had his fingerprints on, and been able to. He literally got away with murder. So why would he think that? Right? Why would he think that? Oh, a little sexual abuse. Of course, if I beat murder, of course I'm going to get off.
The shooting with Shine got away with that. Shine did the time.
Exactly. So,
yeah,
there's endless moments in his life where, yes, I completely he thought that this would happen.
Yeah.
And as far as the whole black man tearing another black man down, hey man, look, Puff is not a good person, and I think that's why I'm like, I can't put that in that pocket because he's not a good person. If he was like the person who, hey, he made a few mistakes or whatever, cool, yes, come on, be like, come on, Fifth, come on, stall him out, come on, he messed up. No, yo, Puff been fucking up for 40 years, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like enough. Like,
I get it.
Like I can't shoot up any bail. And you're right. Fifth had definitely various motivations, from the girl to him to allegedly. He said Puff propositioned him allegedly. We have to say allegedly. Right. So yeah, but nah, man, Puff's not a good person. I can't shoot him no bail.
I understand.
I will say, the documentary, my family background history, we are strong Christian faith believers and we believe in spirituality. I look at, but we're all like strong, like mental people, right? I look at it from the mental aspect of all this, and I'm looking at Diddy's mindset and when he was like days leading up to the arrest and then the court appearance, he's calling people that he did not help out to bail him out. And his back's against the wall. The cards are off the table now. He has nothing to play except plead to the people about going out to the streets, taking pictures, paying people to be up there, free Diddy. He didn't do it, whatever the case may be. Like his time is officially come for him. And I think I look at it from another side too. 50 didn't really need to do much to expose Diddy. Like, this documentary was already in play, and yes, it was hiding, but like all Diddy did was just pull the blankets out. Everything was there. He just brought it up to the public. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. And then he's just like, he's playing, and now Diddy's playing the victim card. Like, I don't know why. Like, y'all got to get me out of here. He freaked out on his lawyers and his personal assistant, and then y'all like, we'll try. You did do all this stuff, but we can get it down to like a misdemeanor or get you, out of those other charges. But this is it shows that like there's more. It's not just Diddy that's doing this stuff. There's other people out here doing things like that to that level of power that he has. But I commend the people that came out and said something and spoke out, because this is going to follow them for the rest of their life. Like, this documentary is out there forever.
And you know, one of the biggest things that I took away also is, look, we're all men, and we all have friends who do various things, right? Who, I mean, some of them might be upstanding citizens, some of them might not be on the up and up, you know. So we all have a good spectrum of friends.
Yeah.
But you get to a point, if you call somebody a friend, of like, just like, hey man, that's not like, I can't rock with you. Like, there's a limit, and I understand when you're rich and powerful, and that's very intoxicating. But it's like none of my friends are like deadbeats, right? Like, it's kind of like you know, it's like, okay, look, you do some other stuff, and it's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but I get it. But none of y'all deadbeats.
Right.
Some of them might be liars, but not deadbeats, right? You know, so the fact that Diddy surrounded himself with so many people who were just so willing to just forego everything, like just submit to whatever was happening. They saw Cassie being abused. They knew his business dealings. They knew what he was involved in, even if they didn't have all the facts. But because of the access being with him, that one producer said he woke up from a party from Diddy sore, and he was like, "All right, cool, let's go back to work." Like,
that's crazy.
You know,
But how do you read that? You know, I think, but also with all of this, with all these different, you know, lawsuits, some of this is just, you know, people being opportunistic, and not all of it's truth. I mean, for all these different things, what was he convicted of? You know what I mean? You know, paying for women to come to him and things like that. It wasn't the baby oil being laced and all that. It
yeah, of
wasn't
course,
all of
yeah.
these theories. I think in the end of the day, for him to only kind of get 2 to 3 years after all these things, that's all he got, you know. And I think with anybody, it's like, you know, if someone wants to tear down Kid from Ohio or B More or J Money, and they have the means to do it, they can find dirt, you know. And then sometimes people are so proactively trying to give you the dirt too. You know, that's why you got paparazzi in the bushes trying to get that magical photo just to do whatever. And but it's tough. Sometimes the universe will pay you back, you know. And I know I'm not sitting there being compassionate for Diddy. I'm just saying, you know, it's just so much to this. It's like, I don't know where I land and how I view it, you know, but it's something. But I do think 50 Cent is he's a remarkable guy. You know, he's a guy got shot 9 times, multiple platinum albums, a great executive producer, got multiple budding TV series. You know, and you know, he's just got street cred. It's just so many things that
Oh
makes
man,
him
stop shooting 50 bail. Don't be
unique.
scared.
No.
Listen,
Yes, they are. No, yes, they are. They are afraid. You know what I'm saying? And
I'd
they
be
should
scared
be.
of 52.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not running from it, but I ain't running towards it. That's
Right.
all I'm saying, man. So, but this Diddy thing is just something, and it's still ongoing, and it's kind of like, we'll see. I'm eager to see when Diddy does come home. What is it gonna be like? You know what I mean? He obviously won't be in front of the camera, but he'll be on the back
Maybe
end.
it's
But
Diddy. He's egotistical, so he might want to be in front of the camera.
we'll see. We'll
And
see.
you know what's the wild thing is that before the Cassie stuff hit, he put out that last album, and I was like,
Love
you know
album.
what? This isn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't
bad at
bad.
all. I
Actually,
liked it.
kind of good. And then
I
the
like
Cassie video dropped. I'm like, well, all
There's
right.
it.
I'm like, I can't, you know, we have a daughter. Both me and Kev have daughters.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you can't see a woman being dragged down the hallway and be like,
No, sir.
all right, man, I can't. I
Yeah.
can't.
No,
You know, I
sir.
can't. You know, come on, man. Like, you know, like that was, and you're right. And Kev, you make a good point. He was not, the stuff that he was convicted of was not like the sensationalist things that we think of what happened, you know.
No.
You know, but I am of a mind of where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Because look, just talk with my friend group. My friend group have been accused of a lot of things. They've never been accused of drugging a girl.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Or a man.
Right.
So,
oh my God. Or a man.
they may have been accused of stealing some shit,
Right.
Right.
which they probably are guilty of, but they've never been accused of drugging a man or a girl. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're
people,
right.
like, when you're rich, of course, people are always going to try for a money grab. But a lot of these cases, there is a sliver of truth. There is some truth to it. So so that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, they might be like, hey man, Kev is a great barber, Be like, all right, cool. One person might say he pushed my line back. Nobody's gonna come and be like, nobody will come and be like, hey man, I had dreads when I went to see Kev. He balled my head.
No, sir.
Nobody will say that. He'll be like, what were you talking about? Because that's all I'm saying. But sometimes when there's a little smoke, there might be something. There might be something to it.
That's fair. That's fair to say. Fair to say.
So, all right, fellas. So with that said, let's talk about all these topics: Diddy, boxing, the NBA Cup, which was great. We're gonna close this one out. Final thoughts. Let's go. Let's jump it off with J Money.
Did he do it? Yes. 100%. Yeah, man. Outside of everything else, sports is in a good place right now. I'm super happy about it. Finally, we are in a place to where we can talk about how things are evolving and changing in the world of both boxing, football, basketball, baseball, even, and soccer too. So sports is in the good hands right now of the future generation. I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely. J Money, I'm with you on that, man. So did you guys see the pressing about the White House coming out with the like athletic games that's gonna be for like
you mean the Hunger Games?
Yeah, it's
Hunger
like
Games,
wow.
bro.
So to your point, but to your point, it just alludes to how things are ever changing and how this world is. We flock to hot topics. We're not even talking about Chauncey Billups and all of that anymore. It's like sometimes you might not even care about the outcome. It was when it was buzzing, we're talking about it, and then we move on. So did he do it? The diddler. It's so funny. All these things that come from no Diddy, it's just like it's just unimaginable. But I do think in the end. The world will allow us to take our attention off things and just put it on something else if they want us to. So we'll see. I think 2026 is going to be big in all areas, whether it be athletics, whether it be entertainment. It's just going to be something, but I'm excited to see it.
Man, y'all went deep. I'm going to be shallow. I'm going to talk about John Cena, man. Look, I'm probably the only wrestler fan on this pod, but I wasn't the biggest John Cena fan, right? But what I did respect is the fact that he put 17 years in. That's a long time. And he was able to leave on his terms. I don't think the WWE handled this final run well. And I blame part of that to The Rock, because The Rock, it was big thing was when The Rock and John Cena, and then The Rock vanished off the face of the earth for some reason. But the last 3 months of what the WWE did for John Cena was great. We were able to get some classic matches. He tapped out. He was still upset about that. But if you understand wrestling, that was the way to go out. Having John Cena not put over the next big villain doesn't make sense, because the story has to go on. And so I respect John Cena, 17-time champion. He kept the Tony Yayo valid. Let's not forget that was Tony Yayo, and he has admitted that he got that from him. So he kept that alive. And so, yeah, man, John Cena was a real one. He knew how to do business. And man, I respect it. And look, no matter what they say, he's not my GOAT. Again, I grew up in the South, so my GOAT's always gonna be Ric Flair, because that's who I saw. So
Rolex wearing.
Exactly. Yes. Woo! All right. So with that said, it's been another great episode. Tribe Called Switch 3-Man Weave edition. Got J Money, Kevin from Ohio, man. We out. Peace.